Gary Burghoff was an absolute delight. He brought that great charm to Radar. The teddy bear, the cuddliness, the naivete.
It was great to see Gary Burghoff. He made people aware of that great charm. The teddy bear, the warm and fuzzy, the gnat. MASH has had a bigger impact on American society than almost any other TV show. The show was famous for its unique mix of comedy and drama, and it kept viewers captivated for 11 years. Its unforgettable series ending even set a record for the most viewers ever. Even though it has a long history and is still loved by many behind-the-scenes stories and interesting facts are still surprisingly little known. We'll lift the lid on all of these secrets today and also tell you which show star hated Gary Burghoff the most and why. Now let's begin. Number 20. Origins and Changes. Origins and Adaptation. Most viewers, even die-hard fans, probably don't know that the TV show MASH is based on the 1968 book MASH, which is about 3 Army doctors and was written by Dr. H. Richard Hornberger under the pen name Richard Hooker with W.C. Hines. Hornberger based a lot of his book on his own experiences as a surgeon in the Korean War. He mixed dark humor with the harsh facts of wartime medicine. Its honest and satirical look at life in the military and the problems medical staff face made it a unique basis for the series. The book's popularity paved the way for a TV show that took both the funny and serious parts of the book and made them work together. The story, which was about the lives of 3 Army doctors, was both irreverently funny and deeply moving about the absurdities and horrors of war. We've only touched the surface so far. As we dig deeper, we'll find out many shocking facts about the show that most people don't know. 19. Writing the Pilot. Writing the Pilot. Larry Galbart was a skilled and experienced scriptwriter who had lived in Hollywood for a long time. Still, like many people who have to deal with the constant stress of the show business, he got tired of the way of life. Galbart moved to London to find peace and a change of pace. She hoped to find new ideas and get away from the sometimes overwhelming Hollywood scene. An interesting idea, on the other hand, proved too strong to resist, even across the Atlantic. When someone asked Galbart to write the pilot for MASH, he jumped at the chance. Even though he had planned to stay away from Hollywood at first, Galbart saw that the idea had a lot of promise. He wrote the pilot story in an amazing 2 days. The fact that he had to finish the story quickly didn't affect how good it was. Instead, it seemed to help him use his artistic energy to make something truly amazing. The network paid Galbart $25,000 for his work because they thought it was so impressive how quickly he got it done. This is the opening. When it first aired on September 17, 1972, it was the start of a huge TV trend. Galbart's quick but careful writing style set the tone for the whole series, which combined sharp wit with moving stories. MASH's long-term success was built on his writing, showing that even a project that came about by chance could have a lasting effect. There are 18 choices and changes in the casting. Did you know that Eamlan Casting Choices Changes Stevenson wanted to play Hawkeye Pierce, the main surgeon, at first, but Alan Alda got the part instead? In the meantime, the part of Trapper John McIntyre was offered to comic Robert Clean, but he turned it down. This made room for Wayne Rogers to play the part. Rogers had a big role on the show, but he never signed an official contract. This meant he could leave the show whenever he wanted. Rogers' freedom to leave at any time made things tense behind the scenes, and the uncertain nature of the contract situation made things strange on set. His leaving after 3 seasons showed how different this arrangement was from the more stable contracts other major cast members had. The decisions made in casting and the details of the contracts affected the early development of the show's main characters and the way its ensemble grew. You're not going to believe this about the changing outfit. 17. There was no reason for Klinger to be who he was, supposed to show up again and again. The character of Maxwell Kulinger was first thought of for MASH, but he was only supposed to be in 1 episode. I first got the idea from a story that comic Lenny Bruce told about being kicked out of the Navy for saying he had homosexual tendencies. The plan was to make Klinger look like a soldier who is trying to get out of the Army. That being said, the writers and the network chose a different path. Instead of making Klinger a gay character, which might have been controversial at the time on TV, they made him a straight man who dressed like a woman to make him look like he wasn't fit to serve. This clever turn of events not only kept the comedy intact, but also made the character fit right in with the show's light-hearted but serious tone. A short comedic part turned into something much more important very quickly. Because Klinger had a unique mix of fun and strength, and Jamie Farr did a great job bringing the character to life, it was an instant hit. People liked how determined and clever Klinger was, and his antics became a mainstay of the show. Klinger went from being a one-off joke to becoming one of the most famous and long-lasting characters on MASH. 16. Experience in the service in real life. Alan Alda and Jamie Farr. Real-life military knowledge. Real military experience brought real military knowledge to their roles on MASH. Based on his own military experience, Alan Alda, who played the smart and caring Hawkeye Pierce, had been in the Army Reserve. This event gave him who really knows what it's like to be in the military, especially how Army doctors have to deal with special difficulties and a strict work environment. Alda was able to play Hawkeye with a sense of realism that was both funny and serious, because he knew how soldiers deal with stress and keep their sense of humor in tough situations. Jamie Farr, who played the popular and strange Corporal Klinger, also brought real-life military experience to the show because he was in the Army before becoming an actor. Farr knew the subtleties of military life, from the strict routines to the ways that soldiers would break the rules to stay true to themselves. As part of his efforts to get out of jail on the grounds of mental instability, his character Klinger was famous for cross-dressing. While Klinger's antics were meant to be funny, Farr's performance stayed true to life, showing both the desperation and creativity of a soldier trying to get away from the harsh facts of war. Farr gave Klinger a sense of realism by having a personal link to military life. This made him more than just a comic relief character. Number 15. The history of the laughter track. Gene Reynolds, who was in charge of producing MASH at the time, and Larry Galbart, who wrote the pilot, were both strongly against using a laugh track. They thought that the show's mix of serious war drama and funny scenes shouldn't depend on canned laughs, which could change the mood. But CBS, which was showing the show, insisted on adding a laugh track because it was, at the time, this was normal for all 30-minute sitcoms. As a middle ground, the producers decided that the laugh track would not be used in the scenes that took place in the operating room because those scenes were meant to be more serious and sad. The laugh track was used less and less as the show went on, and by the 11th season, it was no longer used at all. It's interesting that when MASH played on BBC in the UK, the laugh track wasn't there at all. This made the show stand out as a drama comedy. 14. Cameos and real links. On MASH, there were a lot of great guest stars, like Ron Howard, Leslie Nielsen, and Patrick Sees. Ron Howard, who is known for having a young charm, played a Marine who was eager to serve, showing how complicated innocence and duty can be. Later, Leslie Nielsen became famous for his comedic parts. In this serious and thoughtful role, he showed off his dramatic range. Before he became famous, Patrick Sees played a soldier who got a bad news report. In that role, he showed a balance between being strong and being vulnerable. That's not all, though. The makers of the show also added personal details to the characters, which blurred the line between fiction and reality in a subtle way. One of these touches was how Mike Frell's character, B.J. Hunut, was shown to be a dedicated family man. As a gentle nod to his own daughter Erin, Frell had B.J.'s daughter named after her. This emotional link made the character's portrayal of fatherhood more believable. The same was true for Colonel Potter, who was played by Harry Morgan. The show's attention to detail shone through again. The picture that was used to show Potter's wife was actually of Morgan's real wife. It's shocking, right? Okay, let's go. 13. A problem for the writers to solve. There were ongoing problems for the MASH writing team because cast members often complained about the plots and asked for changes, or said they didn't like their lines. To deal with this problem in a creative and firm way, writer Ken Levine and his co-workers came up with a plan that made it clear to the group what they needed to do. It got so hot at Malibu Ranch in the middle of summer that they had to rewrite scenes where the players had to wear heavy winter parkas. The temperatures were between 90 degree F and 100 degree F. As the cast had to act in these uncomfortable conditions while sweating through layers of cold weather gear, they quickly understood how the writer felt about having to keep taking notes on the script. This smart move stopped more complaints from coming in,